Welcome to the TALKESHI podcast, episode 69.
Woo! 69.
Just kidding. It's 75.
Which is really lame of your part. Who was 69? You? By yourself?
Yeah, which is ironic.
Not ironic. I don't think that's ironic.
Ironic, because it's episode 69.
Whatever.
You get it?
No. Anyway, el punto es que I wanted to be on that episode because that number means a lot to me. Hey, yo, but we pulled it off. We're literally here.
It's girl technology, like
Hey,
girl
okay.
dinner.
Okay.
Come on, girl dinner.
Okay, STEM queen.
Oh my god, ew. No, thank you.
Why? What's wrong with being a STEM queen? I love my STEM queens.
Uh,
That's actually, like, if you're a STEM queen and you're single, Willgonzy@gmail.com.
oh my god, this is my friend Will. He was on an episode like 3 years ago, and now he's on this episode.
Yeah.
And I feel like
In episode 69.
we're always so annoying when we talk, and I feel like
We're in a perpetual state of podcast.
you're my one friend que I'm like, you should make a podcast.
Yeah, bro.
You're the one friend that I'm like, oh, we should make a
I've
podcast.
always wanted to make a podcast, pero yo no quiero una colección de hombres en mi cuarto, en mi oficina, so...
I mean, I feel like you would be making like a good example that a man who makes a podcast can probably be a good man.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, that was a hard one to get through.
That's a no-go. There's no such thing as a good man.
Fíjense con nosotros.
I'm sorry.
Anyway. I mean, like,
joking. It's a joke.
I can't imagine. I mean, there's people that are not going to know that's a joke, so I'm glad that you said.
It is a joke. There are some good folks out there.
I mean,
I use the word folks.
I can't imagine, like, some video tuyo como que going viral or being just, like, a little clip of you saying something wholesome and real. Siento que los tipos te dirían como que, ay, qué pendejo, qué sé yo.
Well, that's okay.
Does not deserve a podcast. To have a
It's not
podcast.
Sigma Alpha.
Y suena la música de funk, the background.
Like American Psycho, like, dude walking, like, into his office, like, pumping.
I hate those
Doing his
edits.
facial routine and shit. Have you seen that?
Yes.
You ever watched that movie?
No, but I know what it's about, and I know that Mila Kunis and her non-bathing ass did, like, a sequel
Yeah.
to it.
I am actually, like, this is gonna be very cringe-inducing, but it's like not necessarily. I feel like the fans of that movie are like extremely cringe. Very similar to like your Rick and Morty. That's not like a bad show, but the fandom and like the fans have made it so it's like such a cringe thing for me.
That tends to happen, doesn't it? I don't know how that
Pulp
happens.
Fiction, like anything that Tarantino does is like immediately like initially you take it with a grain of salt because of like the cringe fucking like pure cinema.
I hate that I am going to deviate from this topic, but okay, I just have to with you because I feel like this is really interesting. Have you seen that thing que se fue viral esta semana that was like, how often do you think of the Roman Empire?
Oh, I think a lot about the Roman. I'm joking. Well, who the fuck? What was that about?
I don't know
I'm
what
sorry.
this
Again,
was.
like I'm not on TikTok, and
Thank
I'm not.
God.
I'm only on Instagram, and
I'm
Instagram
jealous.
only feeds me like things that I like that are not like guitars and cars and soccer and cameras and tech. So I need that. So what happened?
I don't know. I don't even know how to tell you completely because I'm like, you're chronically offline. I'm like intermediately
Stop
offline.
saying that, please. I'm not chronically offline.
Él lo dice, yo lo digo, and it's a problem.
Anyway.
But I'm like 1 foot in, you know, so I see kind of like a pattern of words, right? So I don't know exactly what happened, but apparently someone texted someone like, oh, how often do you think of the Roman Empire? And I don't know. I think it just got me thinking about like quirks like that, like small quirks of like, I don't know. I think I have things that I think about a lot. Do you have anything that you think about like very often that's like something kind of not off-putting? Because the Roman Empire isn't off-putting, but
Roman Empire is not off, but like it's actually impressive that they managed to do what they did. I mean, there's a lot of fucked up shit about the Roman Empire, aka slavery, and aka like all the barbaric warfare that they engaged in. But
I read somewhere that was like, oh, the Roman Empire was not Roman and was not an empire. Apparently, it was like a Franco-Roman state or something.
Yeah. The Holy Roman Empire, and then like history buffs, please correct me. Yo como que mi base de historia está centrada, pero no es como que like please like disinformation alert. Here we go. Before we get community noted. Anyway, entiendo que the Roman Empire was it went through different phases and it even broke up into like Western Roman Empire and then like an Eastern Roman Empire, and then what we know as today as Germany and like Austria was the Holy Roman Empire. Yeah. So like it went a couple of revisions. Like there was a lot of internal turmoil. Eso fue like a whole.
You ever think about how so many things happened before we existed?
My sister in Christ, humanity is just like a blink of like the existence
crazy?
Of the universe.
Do you ever
That's
feel
so
like,
crazy.
Do you ever feel like, damn?
Like dying, yes.
I wasn't trying to quote Barbie, but do you ever feel like we're just doing such little with our little time?
Pero es que, bro, I don't know what you believe in, but I believe that we're just like in chaos, and that we are experiencing chaos because our brains can understand it, and we're just doing what we can. I mean, we don't know anything.
And here we are wasting our time like on Twitter fighting with people that aren't like.
Yeah, I think about that a lot. That's one of the main reasons que I've stepped away. Porque yo participaba muchas veces de no la retórica, porque no estoy diciendo que todo el mundo está aplicando como que retórica or whatever, but just like a veces siento que a lot of my time, my energy was just like to see somebody get roasted over them being clearly wrong or doing something clearly wrong.
Which is like, it's so weird. It's
like it's part of the flavor.
It's like a weird, what's that German word? Schoffen something?
What the fuck?
There's a word that's like...
Schaffenhausen.
No.
Mannschaft.
It's like, oh, fuck. And it's a word that I know how to say, but I forgot it. It's like... it's a word that's like... It means delighting in someone else's, like...
Save.
Delighting in someone else's pain, or, like...
Oh, like finding, like, I guess not pleasure, but, like, light in somebody's, like, pain?
Delusion. Not delusion. Misery, basically.
Puede ser. Not sure. Yo lo que sé es que a mí... Hubo un momento en el que yo sentí que fue... Porque también es como que la gente es que tú puedes escoger a quién tú sigues. Pero I love the people that I'm following, but the people that I follow, sometimes they choose... They like the battle. They like como que... ¿Me entiendes? Expresarse como ellos se quieran expresar, and I'm not against that. Pero me as like... Because again, this is an algorithm that's feeding you like all these things. And it makes the most viral and most polarizing thing as like the... first thing that you see, or the thing that's the loudest and the boldest. No sé, siento que me empezó a afectar mucho, como que no sé cómo explicarlo, como que siento que llegó un punto que era mucha negatividad, y no ni siquiera lo que estaban posteando, pero más a veces los actos que estaban criticando, como que I like ignorance is bliss. I
Honestly,
love not knowing. I love not knowing.
Mira, it's so funny that this kind of continues something that I was talking about in the last episode, because I really liked being offline. Can I say offline?
Yeah, as long as there's no chronically prefix on it, I'm happy. You can do whatever you want. I'm joking.
Okay, but anyway, like I was talking about that kind of.
She cannot say that.
I was talking about the fact that, like, I don't know, me está afectando mucho. Just like, I feel like the algorithm literally saw that I follow a lot of discourse, and it fed me like a lot of think pieces, like consistently. Like it would literally push, like, oh, we're talking about this person's divorce, we're gonna talk about why that divorce is like going down and why this person is a horrible person, y que sé yo. And then, like, I don't know, it started to affect me, so I deleted my main Twitter, and I'm like, now anything I see is from like my podcast Twitter, and I feel like there was like a shift, because I don't see anything, I don't get annoyed on like my podcast
Can I ask
feed.
you something?
And I think it just said, to finish off, like, I just want to say that, like, I think that says a lot about the people that I like followed.
Well, not necessarily. In a way, yes, porque el algoritmo simplemente una reflexión de tu behavior, ¿me entiendes? De realmente
Maybe even like years
cómo
before.
podemos, exacto, el legacy completo de la historia, ¿verdad? Y lo más reciente. Realmente la misión de estas compañías es cuánto tiempo nosotros podemos mantener a esta persona engaged en esta plataforma, so they consume ads, blah blah blah, you know how that goes. Y yo siento que the goats at that is Byte Media, TikTok. They developed like the most refined. Bueno, all these other companies have to pivot to doing work like that in order to compete, pero to maintain people's attention, porque ese era el fear. Pero siento que sí, en el caso de Twitter, el algoritmo te va a premiar con, ¿verdad? Con contenido que asume que tú deseas continuar a indagar, ya sea porque te quedaste mirando los comentarios, ya sea porque interactuaste, ya sea porque you bookmarked it, como que there's a lot of effects that compound into much more like hyper focused dilemmas about that. Like, let's talk about the la pizza de Rio, por ejemplo.
I want to get into that, but I just want to say that we literally walked in here just being like, what are we going to talk about? And
we're just freestyling.
We didn't know. We were just going to freestyle. But this is something that I've been thinking about a lot. And
I'm sorry. I'm just looking at myself in the camera and cringing hard.
Well,
perpetual state of cringe. Anyways, I'm cringe, but I'm free. It's all good.
But like, I do like talking about this because, again, like, it is something that I deal with literally every day, being a social media manager and not being able to like get off of social media. So you were gonna say something.
Yeah, okay, no voy a como que irme full en el tema de la pizza ni el papelón.
I actually didn't get to discuss that, so let's go.
We can talk about it, pero algo bien delicado también pienso yo, so we gotta be careful también que indagamos mucho y que decimos, porque there are two things can be true.
I think it's a conversation in and of itself. Like, I don't think we'd be talking about como que el negocio como tal, but the conversation surrounding.
Exacto, ni las personas que crearon la controversia, ni absolutamente como que nada de eso, no pienso en nada de eso.
I don't even know about that.
El punto es que, por ejemplo, el revolú que hubo de Selena, que es una pizzería en el Paseo de Diego, en Rio Piedras, yo no quería ver nada, pero se me hacía tan difícil yo como persona no como que ver algo, o veía un good take o un take que yo como que me sentí identificado with, pero al yo consumir ese contenido y quedarme, qué sé yo, 13 segundos viendo eso, ya eso le dio el cue a Twitter, now X, whatever, a tirarme mi For You, todo relacionado, even if it's like to the slightest.
Yeah.
¿Me entiendes? So, también es como uno consume el contenido y también como a quién tú sigues. Porque si sigues a personas que, ¿verdad? Porque yo siento que el caso más grande de los problemas como que con desinformación y las peleas y los bochinches que se forman es por la burbuja. I always say this, que es claro, porque se forman echo chambers, because you're following these communities.
And you don't realize how like closed in on you it is. Like, I think
no, porque es bien pequeño.
Que gente sale de esa burbuja, por ponerlo así, and then they realize like, oh, like
the world is not this. Yes.
Yeah.
But
and we're not talking about like cosa, you know, like universal things like racism or como que sensitive topics like homophobia, sexism, like all those things. I think we're evolving in a way where people are learning more about those things. Pero siento que there is certain ideology that is not accessible to everyone. So cuando gente sale de ahí, cuando gente sale de like social media, and you know, they kind of like get mad at people for not knowing every single.
Sí, porque si viene y lo piensas, it's very tribal. Have you ever thought about it like that? It's very.
I thought you mispronounced trivial, but
no, not trivial, like tribal, like as in like como que no sé cómo decirlo en español, puñeta. Nada, el punto es que yo veo estas comunidades porque son comunidades como bien, they can be very tribal. You know, like, you're not part of my tribe, what the fuck, type situation. I also think that a lot of these things are, again, perpetuated by the algorithm. The algorithm's not going to feed you new people outside of that niche community that you're in. It's just going to give you the same old that keeps you in there. ¿Entiendes? No sé. También la gente se cree que 2,000 personas es un montón de personas y que ese es el universo entero. Y 2,000 personas, it's basically nobody. Just putting it out there. No diciendo como que necesitas 10,000 followers. No estoy diciendo eso. Pero siento que 2,000 people is not a lot of people.
2,000 personas is nothing.
Right? And I'm not saying that like at all, because I don't even have that amount of followers. Like, I'm not saying that like that's like a metric to like or anything. I'm just saying if some people have that and that's their following, right? That's all the people that they follow. That's all they're gonna see. And they're not gonna see everybody. They're just gonna see whoever you interact the most.
And I feel like people, I don't know, that's why people coge tanta lucha también, because they don't really see, not only do they not see beyond su burbuja, but they also don't like, I think about this all the time. I know this is kind of like a stupid thing to think about, but I constantly think about like how life is in like other countries, how their daily lives are.
Or the usage of these algorithms too. I think about that too, because I feel like nosotros tenemos un uso bastante, no único, porque en Estados Unidos sí he visto como que people use Twitter the same way, but some people use Twitter very differently, like vastly differently. Nosotros básicamente corremos like our own thoughts and our own like journal type shit, takes. We do takes on different things. Like, hay gente allá que lo usa como que just to retweet stuff and that's it. Just to take in the news and get different opinions. Like, a lot of people use it for politics. So it has a variety of uses, pero yo siento que aquí es más como que this community centered thing, you know? I tried to use it to share my photos, and it worked for a hot minute.
Yeah, plainly for art. I have kind of like that struggle porque
but it bleeds in.
I kind of want to be part of, that's what I was talking about in the last episode, like I want to be part of like the discourse, but not in like a this isn't a word, so no me corrigan,
like righteous.
I know it's not a word already, but not in a vitriolic way. That's not a word. Again, I just made that up.
I don't know what you mean by that though.
Like I just don't want to be like, I guess you were kind of right when you said righteous, kind of like I don't want to be here like
you don't want to like impose your thoughts onto everybody.
Yeah, I just want to like talk shit and maybe make fun or something. But like, you know, another thing is que I feel like something that we learned with like the whole Andrew Tate stuff. It gets like so for me. No. I'm actually not even gonna talk about him. I'm gonna talk about like the coverage of him. It gets kind of like exhausting to see so many people debate like your own freedom. Como que to me it wasn't even that much like obviamente hay hombre malo en este mundo, and so hombre malo are gonna abide by certain misogynistic rules. The worst thing was like seeing so much coverage around every single little thing that he did, and then like even the men that were like, oh my god, like he sucks, it's like I feel like it was just too much. It was just too heavy on me. I don't know. Maybe some other women don't feel like that, but I felt like, oh my god, like I'm tired. Let's stop giving him.
Yeah, yo como que no le doy el poder a ese cabrón. Yo trato de como que no consumir absolutamente nada, whether it is people that adore him or whether it is people that hate him. Like I just try to stay like off the rails when it comes to that person, porque yo entiendo que there's no such thing as bad publicity. Yeah. So whether you speak of him highly or whether you speak of him lowly, you're still ringing his name.
Oh, he made off. He made off with like the amount of fame that he had, even if
right now we're even kind of sort of perpetuating that in a way by
talking about him. Like what if I'm a supporter?
Literally talks about him.
Ew, what if I was a supporter?
Andrew Tate, like she has like a cobra like altar over there. She's like an alpha woman looking for a sigma alpha male.
I was about to say something. Oh my god, I was about to throw myself into the...
There are plenty of tech bros here in San Juan.
What?
Like there are a bunch of sigma tech bros
that
I can connect you with if you're in that lifestyle.
Oh,
you can just come out as like a Tate supporter or whatever right here on
I'd
stream.
rather have an aneurysm right
I don't
here
blame you, bro.
On the
I don't
podcast.
know. Yo no entiendo. A veces yo siento que all this like very like alpha male sort of content, because it's not only him. I feel like it's like a wave of just like dudes that are just like and like it's kind of like incel type behavior / like dudes that are just like very like quizás hasta machistas o como que neomachistas. No, pero tampoco me gusta poner a la gente en cajita. Hay gente que tiene su hay gente que está por lo menos que I don't agree with like
I struggle with that a lot, actually.
Filosofía básica, ¿me entiendes? De la vida.
I'm gonna stop you right there and actually say que I struggle. I don't know where the hell that accent came from, but I want to say que I struggle a lot with like, no sé, llamar cosas por su nombre or just straight up like. At the end of the day, I do believe in like that people aren't inherently bad, but that they do bad things. So I feel like calling someone something like a whole ass thing doesn't really fit in with like regular people. I feel like hay gente machista, obviamente, like that doesn't like. I can't even take this seriously.
I'm sorry. No. Yeah.
But yeah, to me it's really hard to be like, oh, that person is this. I can't. To me, it's really hard to label people también. I think it's because I'm on this wave of growth, and I can't really.
She's growing so much that she can't call people names. I'm
such a good person, man.
Wow, she's such a good person, guys.
I'm such a good person. I'm a good person. That's a whole label.
Pero, to piggyback on that point, a veces siento que últimamente están saliendo todos estos grupos en this like wave of like, como que it's okay to be a man. It's like it's always been okay to be a man. It's your fucking problem, dude. Like desde cuando yo siento que como que este tipo, he just recently got fired from Fox News. Tucker Carlson, are you familiar with him? He's kind of like a conservative kind of like voice. He has his own show now on X. You know, like
well, he is kind of an icon for those people.
No, for sure, and he does a lot of things right, and he also does a lot of things that it's just like this man.
I feel like he's a little naughty.
He's very naughty. He's very naughty, but it's because that's what brings him the clicks.
Yeah, oh for sure.
You know?
I don't
It's
think he
kinda like an
believes
Alex
like
Jones.
I honestly don't think he believes a lot of the things that he like
Gets on.
No, did you ever see those texts? Like him and like the Fox News panelists calling Trump a fucking idiot and this and that.
Por eso digo.
Like he's just the person that's just profiting off of the chaos of like the political sort of like polarization, if anything.
That's kind of what I mean. Like I don't
Or
think
opinion
he.
news, if you will.
Yeah, I think he
Fox
just.
News king for a hot minute.
I feel like he every time like he went on screen, like before he would go on screen, I feel like I don't know, he would just see a point and be like, okay, that's what people want to hear, like I'm just gonna get on stage and just say this, even if I don't completely, even if I personally have like diverting opinions, that's what I'm gonna roll with.
Yeah, como que siento que también ese tipo ha cubrido mucho es todo como antifeminismo de cierta manera, porque
Please take off your mask.
es como muchos de estos tipos como que discuten la vuelta de que in school they're teaching our kids to not be a man, que they're teaching them all these new concepts. Es como que ese miedo a perder como que este machismo inherent, que como sociedad estamos como que decayendo porque estamos perdiendo como que todas estas virtudes machistas que para mí
Every movement has its counter movement, technically.
será, pero realmente como que as a man I feel that I'm very sure of like where women are in this world and where I am in this world and where anybody is in this world. Like yo siento que como que tener all these constructs and all these gender roles como que no necesariamente le debería aplicar a todo el mundo. Sí entiendo que el por qué you would as a conservative person, I'm not conservative by any means, pero que just trying to like fill the gaps in their shoes, like why would they want to raise their kids like a certain way, pero la misma vez como que you don't control the outcome of your kid. Like if you try to micromanage that, like you're just gonna.
I actually saw something super interesting about that said like, and I was like, oh wow, discourse made its way onto my timeline, but I actually appreciated it this time. And it was like, if you have to like make all these rules, because like I don't know if just in Florida this is what was happening, but like that there were rules about like anti-drag and like you can't even do drag in public, something like that. And basically just like essentially what the laws were saying were basically like, if you're like, por decirlo así, this isn't something that I would typically say, but this is, like if you're cross-dressing in public, then you could basically go to jail or they can like stop you or whatever. There was a law kind of stating that like, oh, like that could be considered drag, like a trans person just out in public living their life.
DeSantis doesn't like gay people.
Which is, yeah. But then like someone said something really interesting that was like, if you have to put all these laws in place about like gender roles and like, you can't dress this way, you can't do this, you can't do that or whatever, then they're not as innate as you think they are. Then they're not as like biological or just like they're not as, you're not just male or you're just female, basically. Like that's what it was insinuating,
Right.
And I found that very interesting.
Yeah, they I know that in Florida there was this, and again I wish that I had like the name of the law, like los artículos y todo, pero realmente no los tengo, so sorry. Pero anybody in the comments, they can fact check me and call me a piece of shit that doesn't know what they're talking about, because that's what I am.
That's what I am as well.
Anyway, entiendo que no es que se llamaba Don't Say Gay, pero creo que como que toda la, I guess, propaganda both from the left and the right that I saw did say Don't Say Gay as a law, and it was just banning literature and banning a lot of like, just like, por ejemplo, como que tú sabes esta dinámica de que si if I own a business, you can't discriminate. I cannot discriminate against anybody. I should provide that service, but that now this gives them the right to be like, I don't want to make a gay cake or whatever, like whatever that means. A gay cake. Pero como que, I don't know, something like that, like como que.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like they would have the right to like lawfully refuse. Yeah.
One last question: do you like oat milk?
I like oatmeal lattes, oatmeal lavender lattes. I'm joking.
Oh damn!
I'm a creative director that likes.
So
I'm
funny
joking.
how that actually sounds delicious.
I'm a software
to me.
engineer that works remotely, bro. I don't.
We
I
have
just like
modern jobs.
We're just modern people over here.
We're modern
and
people.
please, where's my oat milk
Honestly,
lavender latte?
If you would tell my grandma that we are a social media manager and a
Software developer.
that work from home and we drink
Oh.
oat milk lattes in 1935, she would combust.
Nah, bro. I feel like, and I kind of, this is hilarious. There's this meme page that I follow. I'm gonna show you this meme page because it just hits on these like niche subjects, just like on point.
Is it the wholesale one? You showed me this 3 times.
It's so iconic. It just makes fun of basically the entirety of Portland, who's like the fucking like hipster kind of like cringe area of the United States.
I feel like we are that version. En verdad, that's in la metro. En la metro hay gente así.
That's Rio Piedras.
Rio Piedras, but yeah.
I should make the same meme account, pero de Rio Piedra.
Oh, but you love Rio Piedras. You hang out there
I
all the
love
time.
Rio
You just
Piedra.
don't like
Yo amo Rio Piedra.
certain mindsets from Rio Piedras.
Well, that's a stretch. That's a stretch. I mean, maybe, yeah. I hate la gente que no es de Rio Piedra. Yo no soy de Rio Piedra. So, yo no ronco que soy de Rio Piedra. Es más la gente que ronca y como que se quejan de cosas y no son ni de allí. Y como que se apropian de una comunidad que ni son de ellos. And it's like, most of them, it's like their parents are rich. And they're like, I'm pretending that my parents aren't rich. Yeah. I'm pretending that my parents aren't like pagando el primer lado aquí en Santa Rita. Como que, shut the fuck up.
Oh my god.
Ya, y son personas que se apropian de la comunidad. Es como que ustedes están contribuyendo a la comunidad. Absolutamente nada. Y no en el sentido como que económico, ni en el sentido de que abriste un negocio, una pizzería o algo así, cabrón. Como que, ¿qué tú estás haciendo además de quejarte y llorar? Eso es lo que a mí me encojona. Pero eso lo hay en todos lados. Eso no es exclusivo de Rio Piedra. Eso está en todos lados. So, yo amo Rio Piedra, real.
I feel like we covered so much in such an awesome way. You have to come back on this podcast.
Yeah.
You have to come back.
We can.
And we should change venues like in Smash Bros. Like this was one venue.
We could do my apartment like with a view of the city. That can be done. Yeah, that can be done, but it's just a tight little space that we might need to figure out like.
So we'll just be like
Yeah.
Pero it'll be dope still.
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm so glad que cogimos una noche con un poquito de brisita.
Yeah. It's been hot out there.
We're friéndonos como una empanadilla.
Demasiado.
En la de esto with this light. Do you
Yeah.
not feel like when I capuja
No.
set out
No, man.
en la lucecita?
No, man. No, man.
I feel like that's what the comments are gonna be like.
No.
But anyway, that was me and my friend Will, which should come back on the podcast. Comment for him to come back on the podcast because it's always a fun time. And we should have
I'm gonna create like a bot network, and I'm just gonna have a bunch of bots comment, "Come back, we loved him,"
controversial
to make up for all the haters.
We should have like a segment.
I don't have no haters.
Like,
I ain't cool like that.
You know how it's like the TALKESHI podcast? We should have like a lower segment like frenemies. We should just kind of do that.
I'm happy to do that, and we can talk. But I would love to have like to understand what we're gonna talk about. So
we
that
should
I
have
can prepare.
topics.
Topics would be nice.
That would be dope. I would love that.
And then having like different people.
And we should like send each other stuff to be like, oh, let's talk about this week or this month if we make it like a monthly podcast.
We can talk about tech. I love talking about tech.
I know nothing about tech.
But
you can mansplain me tech. That would be such a good episode. You're just being like, so this is an iPhone.
No, I'm not gonna talk about an iPhone. You can talk about like, I don't know, anything that's not an iPhone.
Yeah. But yeah,
we need topics. We need shit to talk about.
This was a fun episode. Nevertheless, without any topics, this was great. This touched so many things that are relevant to me because it's not important that it's relevant
Sponsored
to you.
by.
It's not. It's also not showing up. Oh yeah, it is showing.
They paid me. They didn't pay her.
Screw you. Anyway, thank you so much for listening / watching.
Yeah.
And I will see you next week.
That you shall.
Yeah. I won't see you next week.
Oh.
But I'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye, guys.